Hello everyone, Lori here from the Lori Travato Show, and I make things for jewelry, magic items, RPG, all that in between. I'm going to get right into it. I'm going to show you how I make something really cool, these leaves. So I love to do things that are natural and druidic, and if you don't know who I am, by trade, I'm a plant science teacher and a floral art teacher, but I absolutely love fantasy and RPG. So we're going to get into it with this tiny little ball of brown clay. It's about the size, I don't know, about the size of a dime, but it's round like a sphere. And I used this to make this without a mold. And I'm going to show you how I do it using some a honeysuckle leaf, believe it or not. So first I take my little bead, okay, and I try not to hit the camera. That's always good, right? You know what? I like to let people know that I'm real and I'm not some, just some hand on a stage. And this isn't fake. So, okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I got my bead. I like to think about the leaves that I have, maybe even bring one in as a guide. That's the honeysuckle. I have spirea, but this spirea is a little too small for what I want to do. So we're going to use this honeysuckle. And the first thing I'm going to do is flatten it. That's it. I like to take and flatten it with my hand and get it into sort of like an almond shape. Because if you look at like this leaf here, right, it's got its tip, its apex over here, and then it's got where the petiole is over here coming down. This would be really a great way to teach intro to morphology to a class of students. Here I go getting into all that stuff. So sometimes I'll start at a ball stage and then I just shape it myself with my thumb. I use my thumb as sort of like a means to getting that leaf shape. Okay. And I will sometimes go back and I will flatten it just a skosh with my roller and hit the camera again. I need a new camera thing, one that's higher above my head. Yeah, so anyhow. All right, so once I have the size I want, now I want it, this particular one, I want it so people could utilize it as a pendant and put them together and do multiple leaves on a necklace, or use it as maybe an earring. But you could definitely do this thinner. It's just it's a little harder to work with when it's thinner. And so what we're going to do, how pretty would it be if it was uber thin? Okay, I know they make leaf molds out there, but you know what, then you're constrained to the size of the mold. So if you wanted to do this on a large scale and do some sort of plate, or you wanted to do some a really neat wall hanging, you don't always find molds in the size you want. So also what I do is I will take and just sort of rub the sides to make the sides be it's nice and smooth. Again, you're trying to just mimic the shape of a leaf. Now with my hand, I'm gonna make the apex, right? We talked about that, the apex, okay, of the leaf, the tip of the leaf. And then where the petiole would be. The petiole is like the little stem at the end of a leaf. Okay. Now, here's the really easy part. And I actually like to spray with a little water. Let me go closer so I can kind of show you here. Okay. So even though these leaves don't have a tendency to stick, some things do. So this is a little trick I showed in another video. I can't take any credit for it. I saw it, somebody posted on one of my comments a long time ago. Anyway, so then you'll take the petiole here and you'll place it right in the center, okay? And then you want to make sure that it's nice and straight up here. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take a block or a piece of wood. I have an acrylic. This is clear because what I'm going to do is show you, and it helps me be able to show you if I use a clear block. All right, now when you press, it's going to do even pressure all around. So I press really hard, and believe it or not, you would think that it would spread all out. I'm just going to zoom out for a minute. You would think this would spread, okay? But if you use a really high quality clay, it's not going to spread that much, especially if you use like a Primo, something that's like, it's more rigid. A Sculpey, I believe this one actually happens to be a Sculpey 3. And I'm keeping it cooler. It's cooler in this room. The air conditioning's going. If this is really warm and humid, it wouldn't work as nice, but you can always put things in the refrigerator or the refrigerator to cool them down. Okay. So now comes the fun part, and I'm just going to zoom in and lift this up because I want you to get it. Sorry, I used to get my nails done all the time, and again, I teach plant science, and it's summer, so at the time of making this video, so, we're always getting a little cringy. All right, are you ready for the fun part? Because this is the fun part. Now, as you can see, there is some edges here that aren't done. If you wanted to, before I take this off, what you could potentially do, if you wanted to, you could go in with a straight edge. Okay, I'll show you what I'm talking about. You could go in with a straight edge razor, and you could trim that. If I could find my straight edge razor. I wasn't planning on doing this as part of the video, but yeah. Okay. Here we go. So you could go in and bump your camera. That's actually, of course, really important to do. I want to make sure I'm zoomed in enough so you can see. And straight edges are fabulous because they're bendable, but they are real razor blades. So you could go in and you could place it so it's where that excess did come out, and you could cut it, okay, and trim that off. Again, same thing on this side. You could take it and you could place it. You could trim it. And they're so sharp if they're new. If there was a little leaf, it would actually cut the leaf. So that's it. That's that part. Okay, here's the fun part. You ready? All right. You're like, get ready. Get with it already, will you, lady? Oh my gosh, I just realized how. Okay, here we go. This is the most epic part. And nature did the work for you. And you're like, oh, why is it shimmery? Well, that's because I had it on a workbench that had some mica shift powder and on it. So then you could tweak the sides if you saw that it wasn't quite exactly the way you wanted it, but it will look so natural and so perfect. And you could even, shape it a little bit before you bake it. You could make it have a little bit of a curve. And you could wait and drill the hole after. You could do it without a hole and do a wire wrap and do a loop at the top. Like this particular style here, this is not inside of a hole. This is all wire wrapped. It's a necklace I made. But then, to make the really pretty effect that you saw here, I used a powder. And the powder, let me just grab some. This particular color I'm using is called, what is it called? It's just called green, believe it or not. It's just called green. But it has like gold tones in it. Be great for fall. So like if you were doing craft shows in the fall, this would be really, or art shows, fine art shows. I do a fine art show at a museum in October, and that really is, it's nicer to have those, finer pieces there, right? There's different crowds or different things. And so there you go. And that's that. Now, one more thing before you leave me is I do like to make the hole. Now you could do a like a pinch bail, you wouldn't even need a hole because you could probably get it in without that. But maybe you were doing something where you were wiring and doing a little wire wrap effect, or doing like a ring. So there's different things you can use. I'm actually using my my pliers, these little round, and I'm just going in right at the vein, but I'm going down a little bit. I want to make sure that there I have a little space. Boop. There you go. And that's it. That's how easy it is. And I did not use a mold. And they're going to be so pretty. Maybe zoom out a little bit. Okay, can you just imagine how beautiful that would be on a necklace? And you could do different sizes, or just a pair of earrings. Lovely. I hope you liked it. Bye-bye.